Gemini and Gemini rising. So this is your weekly Astro for this coming next few days, Gemini. And I'm looking at the full moon in that second house really has to do with finances. And you may actually get a paycheck or some sort of income generated monies. So this is money that you have earned that gets that maybe this is money that you've been waiting for and it finally shows up. It could also be a turning point for you in terms of your valuing yourself. That second house has to do with how do I value myself and am I being monetarily rewarded for that value, for that skill, for the resources that I bring to whatever it is. Mercury is your ruling planet, and Mercury is doing some stuff not until later in the week on the 1st. So let's just unpack what we've got here for a little while before we get to that. The Venus square Neptune for Gemini and Gemini rising is happening in the area that rules partnership. So this partnership could be your marriage. It could be your any contractual relationship you have with, say, an agent, a manager, a counselor even. And it's squaring Neptune in the 10th house. So this could be a conflict that you are having with someone who you've hired to help you. But it also could be a conflict with a spouse and how that spouse and you see your status. There's something around that 10th house that has to do with your status in the world, your reputation, your career, and how you're rewarded for all of these things. Because of that Venus square to Neptune, it feels like you are maybe conflicted about your professional output. And yet you're being rewarded pretty handsomely for that professional output. Maybe you're feeling a little bit confused or you can't quite get your arms around who am I publicly anymore. Maybe you've lost sight of your professional self and who that really is. You know, Gemini and Gemini risings are having they're in the eclipse vacuum cycle wormhole because the north and south nodes are activating identity issues for you, Gemini, from this year all the way into next year, all the way into the end of next year. So you're in a little bit of a process of reinvention, a process of discovering new aspects of yourself and being challenged to really assert that authenticity into the world. This also has to do with your physical body. The north node in that first house, and it's being triggered by Venus in the 7th. It may be that, it's time for you to look at how you're taking care of your physical body. And maybe let me look at something here, that Pluto square Mars was happening. There may have been some sort of crisis recently with that Mars square Pluto from the 11th, a crisis in your community or a crisis in your friend group or your tribe or your bubble where you were, faced with maybe health issues. That's certainly a theme for all of us now, right? Mercury in that, let's see, sextile to Neptune. Yeah, there is still some sort of the crisis that came up last week with the Mars square Pluto may reach some resolution this week with Mercury in a nice alignment to Neptune. So, there is a lot going on, Gemini, for you and getting clear on what you contribute to the world and getting clear on your reputation. And so it feels a little wobbly. It feels like you're in a reinvention phase, a period of looking at who you have historically been publicly and maybe being in between identities in some way. So you're sort of in a place of, that place of liquefaction. When the butterfly sort of liquefies and then becomes something new, there's a little bit of that happening for you right now. I would say use the clarity of this Cancer full moon to get grounded in what you contribute because it's happening in that second house. So not only does it bring in actual money, but it can also highlight for you why you're being paid what you're being paid, or why you are worth what you're worth on the market. Yeah, so that feels like a time of, it does feel a little bit like reassessing some goals, reassessing, because that moon, remember, is squaring Chiron in the 11th, really looking at, okay, what am I bringing to the table? Am I being valued for that in my community? Am I being valued for that on the professionally by an authority figure, a boss, a corporation? But really getting clear on what you contribute, that's going to be key.